Designated Survivor Episode 12, The Ninth Seed. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I think we got a lot of good stuff from the investigative side of things, like what in the world is this? It was almost kind of creepy in the beginning when Jason and Hannah go to like this town and it's like, oh man, there's not a lot of things going on here. At first, honestly, considering the series, I was like, is this whole town going to end up being fake and just everybody's a spy? Because they go through and it's like, here's a lot of out of town plates, and I was like, man, I think everyone here is gonna like killed off all the actual townspeople, and they've replaced them. I was like way beyond what they actually did. It was just every once in a while they come into the town. Of course, they stay off the grid because they're part of this terrorist organization within the country, and so they kind of keep off the grid, but that's where they go because that's where all the bombs are. And by the time we hit the end of the episode, we find out Lozano is actually showing up there all the time, and it's probably to be like, we meet, and this is how everyone gets their plans, because of course, otherwise, considering they clearly don't use electronic stuff, it would be like snail mail. And even then, it has to be like, okay, well, it has to go to a certain location, and that's also risky because you have at least a paper trail and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I'm excited to see how that plays out in the next episode, but I really love the way they did that. The way they run into like the first guy is like, oh yeah, I heard there's a storm rolling in, and the guy looked at him super funny. He's like, oh yeah, I guess we just we haven't really checked the weather. And I was like, oh crap, they're screwed. I thought they might get attacked, but it was like, nope, they're just not a part of it. And they're going through, they're trying to get past this bridge. They run into the people. They have to like spy on them from a distance and get a little bit closer. They have a group kind of setting up, which I believe they mentioned was like still like 20 miles away or something like that. So it was just crazy. I was like, man, they're going through a lot of crazy stuff, finding this town and then finding all these people that come together in order to basically, like set up a landing zone and everything, and then the helicopter comes in. So it's going to be fun to see exactly how that's supposed to play out in this next episode. Of course, honestly, I already love that. I thought that was a really good portion, but I think my favorite has to be with the reporter. It starts off with him. He's going to meet an actual terrorist leader to get information about Al-Sakar and stuff like that. And it was really good because I was like, in the other episode I was like, man, how in the world did he find out, what was his source? In this episode, he was just like laying out all sorts of crazy information. He goes to Hookstrap and is like, you know what, you don't have to say anything, I'll just make it easy. Agent Hannah Wells. And I was like, how in the world would he possibly know her name? So that's the big thing for the next episode, that whoever it is that's feeding this guy classified information is going to be revealed. Honestly, it's hard to say who it could be unless, I was thinking like maybe it could possibly be the former president. I don't know why that would be the case. But I was like, well, he already had that really big, piece of information in a previous episode, and that was before, the last president came along. So I don't think it's him. And with everyone else, it's just like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm sure it'll make sense once it's actually revealed. But for every character, it's just like, I don't understand what's going on here. And then we find out that this person, seemingly, whoever he's meeting, which I guess it's hard to say if that's even the same person because he's getting this classified information from the White House, but I don't know if that's the same person that sent him the link and gave him the phone. I'm like, is this a different organization? Is this person, the person that called, tied in with the person that gave him the information from the White House? Or are these two totally separate things where he's getting this classified information directly from a White House source, and now he's getting extra information from a new organization that wants to go against this secret, terrorist organization? So I'm like, I don't really know if we now have like two new crazy secret government, or not government, but like just secret organizations working against each other. Who knows? But I'm super excited just the way it all played out. We have the reveal. It seems like it would be tied in to the same person that's actually within the White House, but you never know. It could be different. But I thought it was really great. That was probably my favorite story just because it was like, who in the world is feeding him all of this crazy information? He gets the link, he gets the phone call, and now we just have to see where that goes for the next episode. And they talk about how something eventually does actually get put into the news. So I'm really looking forward to that. I thought they did a great job with just building up that mystery. Like he was just that guy who had some news that was easy, kind of easy to deny in secret or in public, but it was confirmed in secret. And now it's like, this is on a whole other level where if he reveals this, it will, kind of like Forstill said, it would destroy everything they're doing with this investigation. They'll be like, oh crap, the government knows about us. We have to go dark. Like, it would ruin everything. So honestly, I can't wait to see how they do that. The political stuff in this episode was good. I think this might actually be the end of Bowman officially. As far as, like just an annoying douchebag of a protagonist, but I like what they did there, and they actually had like a surprising little bit of emotion, especially when it got to like the literal end of the episode. But we have a former colleague of Kirkman's who comes in and tries to help them find this ninth seat, because of course they have their Republicans and Democrats. They need an impartial person, and of course Bowman, being the a-hole, is like, oh, we vetted them already, but we went through again, and it's like, oh man, liberal bias, so I don't know, we can't really have that happen. So of course they go through and they have to find some new names. He denies the first name, and they wanted to use his former friend, and it got super sad when she was like, I have to tell you why I can't do it, and it's because she has early onset dementia. I was like, wow, I certainly didn't expect that to be the reason why, because she was sick. So that was a very surprising way to kind of end that out, but she comes up with a great plan to, just leave it at the 8 that there are, so that way he can't kind of, mess with them and, hold off this very important process, as Kirkman mentioned, which was a great moment when he got super pissed in the beginning, and he was like, shame on you, and he goes to like a whole speech and was like, I will basically like blast you in front of the entire country if you try to F this up right now because you want to be on top. Like, I thought that was a great sequence, but he still kind of settles back down when the other guy says, like, could you, for all parties involved, could you just throw a name forward? So it's able to kind of calm down from the opening segment, but I thought it was really great. And then the solution was good too, and fortunately, Bowman agrees, so he's like, I can wait you out or whatever, but they have their 8 people, so I thought that's a great way, it all works out for them. And they have that moment at the end where Kirkman's with his friend, they're celebrating and stuff, and she's just like, I got to go back to teach my class in the morning. And they have like the goodbye, and she just says, remember me like this, and just leaves. And I was like, that was actually a really great line. And of course, with her having dementia where she'll forget and stuff, I was like, that was a really powerful way to do that. And he actually, kind of tears up a bit. So surprising little bit of emotion in there, and I thought they did a great job with that. But the political side was good, of course. And then, 2/3 of this episode was like, who the F is doing this? Why are they doing that? Lozano shows up at the end. So complete madness on that side, but it was very exciting in this episode because I was like, it's hard to say exactly how things are about to play out, because I thought for sure Hannah and Jason were going to end up in like a firefight in this episode. As soon as they got to the town, I was like, I feel like they're going to have to like fight to survive in this episode. But a few weird encounters, but nothing super crazy. And by the time it ends, we just have to see where things go. They're going to still have to follow behind them, but they can't get too close and they can't be spotted because they're way outnumbered, and all these people have like machine guns and hunting rifles and all that craziness. So they're going to be super careful, wait for backup, and maybe they will actually swarm, like this silo field, and we'll see what happens after that. If they actually capture Lozano, that would be a huge step forward for them. But I don't know. I just don't think it'll go as well as that, where it's like, the army swoops in and it's like, you guys are all under arrest for being, super secret terrorists. Capture Lozano, everything's perfect. I just don't think it's going to play out that way. But we will get the official reveal, which if they do it like the really generic TV way, we won't get the reveal to the end of the next episode, and then it'll go into, the reveal of everyone finding out who I was giving this reporter secret information. But I'm looking forward to it. They kind of, once again, this is a promo, so you never know what's really happening. But they make it seem as though it is a guy, because there's a person, I think, who was talking to Hannah, was like, he's been hiding in plain sight. That could be literally anything taken out of context, because that's how they do promos, where it's like, oh, it's revealed that it's like this or like that. So it could potentially be a guy because of that line, but that could have easily been taken out of context, just thrown in there to make us assume it was a guy, and kind of make us go like, okay, well, which guy is it? So who knows? It could be a guy. It still could easily be a woman, because that's how they do promos for episodes. But I'm certainly looking forward to this next episode. Really thought this was a great one with, the political stuff. I thought was really good. I think this has probably been the best that they've had for the political stuff, with Bowman just being like this really odd antagonist for them, where it's just like, yeah, I'm just kind of being an a-hole, where, for the public, it's like, yeah, I'm working with the president to make this happen, and then, he throws out this really horrible bill because he wants it to fail, and, he's acting to the public like he's with the president, but everyone, behind the scenes knows that he's actually just trying to come out on top and screw the president over. So I think they've done a great job with these past couple of episodes with the political side of things, because it's actually been fairly intense with him getting into, the official first 100 days. And they've done a really great job because it hasn't been all the investigative stuff, which surprisingly, I'm okay with. I didn't think I really care at all about the political side, but they've made it entertaining. And then, of course, you have still the investigative stuff. So they did a great job in this episode, as they have the past couple. But, of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I definitely want to know who you guys think the source is for this reporter. Like, who is giving out this secret information? It's, like, honestly, it's so hard for me to have a guess, because I feel like no one has, well, maybe not no one has a legitimate reason to do it, but I feel like everyone has a reason not to do it. Because Aaron, I definitely don't think it's him. I don't think it's going to end up being Hook Stratton. I mean, there's only like 3 official characters in the White House. Obviously, it's not going to be Kirkman, and I really don't think it's going to be either the 2 people that he still has working for him, or at least, the main people working for him. So it's like that leaves a very small amount of characters, and I'm just like, I just don't see it. Also, like, I don't know, like, Forrest Hill, why would he be the one? Why would it be like the main security guard guy? Like, I just don't understand why it would be either of them. But those are like my 2 most likely suspects, just because if anything, they have the most reason. I don't know. I guess maybe they have the most reason, but for everyone else, I'm just like, it seems like it makes no sense whatsoever. So for those 2, I'm like, I guess I could see it, and that's really my only reasoning. So I would love to know your guesses as to who this source is for the reporter. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.